Hey YouTube, Lacrimosa is finally here, and in today's video I'm going to give you guys a guide as well as a showcase on her build, rotations, and skills for her. But before we start, if you do find this helpful, a sub would mean a lot. We're trying to go for 100 subs by the end of June. Anyways, let's dive straight into her kit. To start off, Lacrimosa is a Chaos attribute main DPS whose damage relies on a mix of direct hits and damage over time. Whenever she deals damage, she inflicts Nightmare status effect on enemies. This effect lasts for 3 seconds and can stack up to 10 times. You can see the stacks accumulating right here under the enemy's health bar. Lacrimosa actually features 2 distinct combat modes. She can go into melee with her frying pan or switch to a ranged playstyle by spraying ketchup. You can swap between these modes using her skill G, so just use whichever one feels more natural to you. However, keep in mind that her ultimate behaves slightly differently depending on the mode you are in. And now we're going to talk about her coolest mechanic, in my opinion. If you hold down her basic attack, she can fire ketchup, and if this hits an enemy, she can copy their skill, which you can see on screen right now. I copied this boss's ability and I can use it again. However, a quick word for advice of this ability is that for higher difficulty endgame content, I actually recommend disabling or ignoring the copied skills, as Lacrimosa's default abilities flow much better and are way more reliable when pushing tougher content. Now let's talk about some team comps. I currently only recommend 2 variations that I'm showing on screen right now, as they both utilize security for crowd control, Hotori as a sub DPS, and then either Haniel or Adler as your support filler. However, don't worry if you don't have Hotori, because you can use Daffodil. And there are 2 major reasons for this setup. And first is resource scarcity. No one has a lot of spare materials to level up non-essential units, especially the free-to-play players, and a lot of players also don't have Fadia. As a general rule for the current meta right now is that you should prioritize your max investment resources for Hotori. The main character is Zero, Nanali, and Lacrimosa. Units like Jillian and Sakiri are perfectly fine sitting at level 60 for now, while your other A2 characters can be left around level 30 to 40. And the second reason comes down to the fawns. Since a lot of players drain their fawns pulling on the Porsche collaboration banner, myself included, our available energy to farm can't fully maximize their effects, which causes our damage to drop drastically. And fortunately, the core team, Nanali, Zero, and Julian can already clear any floor of the current prime circle easily. And because of this, slotting Hotori into Lacrimosa's team make up for a lot of missing damage and is a fantastic choice, because if Lacrimosa does happen to fall in battle, Hotori can still pick up and take over and keep the DPS high. Alright, now let's talk about some rotations. The rotation for this first team is pretty straightforward. To start off, start with Hotori and cast her skill, and then after that switch to Haniel and use her skill to buff the whole team's damage, and then switch to Sakiri, use her skill and then ultimate to group up all the enemies together, switch to Lacrimosa, and then use her skill into basic attacks, and then pop her ultimate. From there, let Lacrimosa stay on the field as your main DPS until you trigger the cycling effect, and once your cycling effects triggers, quickly cycle to Haniel and Sakiri to refresh your buffs and regroup the enemies, and then use Hotori ultimate to finish them off. After that, go right back to Lacrimosa. However, if you are running Adler instead of Haniel, simply swap their exact placement in this rotation. Most of you should have these characters already. You can get Sakiri from the selector, and almost everyone pulled for Hotori. However, now we can talk about the free-to-play rotations that uses Daffodil instead. For this rotation, what you want to do is start with Haniel's skill and ultimate, Q and then E, and then chain into Daffodil's ultimate and skill, Q and then E, and then follow up with Sakiri's skill and ultimate, E and Q, and then bring out Lacrimosa, use her skill, basic attacks, and ultimate. Her basic attacks will trigger her second skill usage, allowing her to stay on the field and drive damage until the next cycle. And once that's done, swap back to Haniel and repeat the loop. And now let's talk about her build. For free-to-play and casual players, just getting a single copy of Lacrimosa is completely fine. If you happen to pull for Awakenings, you can follow the priority chart that I've laid out on screen right now. And this is based on my personal testing, so if you have a different setup, you can feel free to discuss in the comments or join the Discord link in the description. As for her weapon, it's definitely her signature weapon or signature arc, and also go for the chaos attribute for her cartridge. Your main stats should focus on chaos damage, crit rate, and crit damage, and honestly, you don't need to worry about perfect substats right now, as our stamina is better spent farming ascension materials anyway, so just use the best of what you have. So that's it for today's video. If you did enjoy, making these videos take a lot of time and a lot of work and effort, so if this helped you, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. And if any new redeem codes or guide updates drop, I'll be sure to share them with you right away. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. This is Kalo, and signing out, and I'll see you guys in the next video.